Hi, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Sheridan.
And together we're Sippin on Spice podcast.
And we get together once a week where we're going to review a book that we recently read. We treat this like a girls' night, so we're going to say everything that you were already thinking, and you're going to want to grab a beverage for this.
Yep, and we're going to rate everything on a star scale, 1 to 5, as to how good we thought the book was, as well as a penny scale on a scale of 1 to 5. We do this instead of a spice scale because if you can picture a penny, you can picture why we do it.
Yes, and this week we're going to be reviewing Fourthwing by Rebecca Yarros. I know, and I just want to kick off. I can't believe it took us this long to review this because it's so good. So good. I know.
I totally agree. Honestly, this was my book that I was super scared to read because I've seen it so much. I feel like it gets, well, I don't want to say ACOTAR level of hype, but it gets very close to ACOTAR level of hype. So when you see something like that, it's just I don't want to be bummed. I don't want to have these high hopes for something and then go into it and just be let down. So
I get that. Would you say it lived up to the hype?
Oh my God. I am obsessed. Yes. I am. This is about to be just a love poetry to Rebecca Yarros.
No, I totally agree. It was amazing. I don't know that I was stressed or scared to read it or anxious to read it, but I just didn't think I'd like it as much as I did reading the synopsis. But okay. I absolutely loved it. So to kick us off, what is the synopsis? Basically, so I would say it's...
What is it?
What is this book about? I mean...
What is Fourthwing?
Probably already know, but... So I would say it's new adult. It's fantasy romance, and basically it's set in a world where there are dragons and basically young, they're in their early 20s.
It's
so it's
college age, yeah.
They go to this war college, and there's different factions within the college. There's scribes, but the most dangerous and most prestigious faction of the college are the dragon riders, or they call them the riders. And then they have all these structures within the factions, wing. That's why it's called Fourthwing. And there's different leaders, and the whole journey that we go on is we have our female protagonist Violet, and kind of her story of her mom is really high up in their political system, but she's always viewed her as being weaker than her siblings.
Because she is technically weaker. So her body is physically I guess the best way to explain it is she just gets injured easier. 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 Whew.
Yes, that's actually a point I had to talk about because they keep saying often, over and over, that she's easily injured. But why? She's just smaller?
It sounds like she got sick. I didn't think they did a good job of explaining this, but my takeaway was she got sick when she was younger. It created some sort of almost Elsa infection where her hair turned half white. And she's just frail. So if something happens that maybe you would have a bruise or a sprain on, she would break something.
Yes. Okay. That makes sense. I missed the part in the book where they maybe talked about, you said she was sick when she was younger.
It was a brief note. It was from the illness or something like that I'm thinking of, but they don't ever give you a full, she had this ailment, at least in Fourthwing. So I think it's also important to note that up until this point, Sheridan and I honor this podcast. So we have not moved on to Iron Flame. We wanted to keep this spoiler free.
Yes.
So we literally have only read Fourthwing and we also have not talked about it.
Yes. And it's been very difficult not to talk about it. It's been very, very difficult.
One of the hardest couple of days.
Okay, so I went through all the emotions reading this book. So many emotions, especially the ending. We can talk about the ending later, but I literally was on the edge of my seat reading the last section of this book, the last 100 pages. Went through it.
Okay, I do want to take that at the end. I think we should go as because I have a lot of notes. Perfect. So I have a lot of chronological thoughts because I take these notes as I go through it. So at point in time, I have a feeling, I note that feeling so that we can go back through it.
Perfect. Okay, perfect.
Okay. So the first thought I had actually, and I think the reason I quickly took to Fourthwing, because I think usually for me at least, world building is really hard for me in the first book. So usually the first 30 to 50% of a fantasy book, I'm like, you know what I mean? I have a harder time picking it up. I did not feel that with this because it reminded me of my first love, which was Divergent.
Oh, gotcha.
And it has a lot of like some of the flows of the movie or flows of the book, I guess. I'm trying to think of the right way to word it. Like it followed, like, I think there was like Xaden was like 4 and Divergent. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, I think, little things that I picked up. But I wrote that I felt like it was like Divergent meets Game of Thrones.
Yes. Okay. So I apologize. I have not read Divergent. I think I saw maybe part of one of the movies. So but I did not see it all through. But now to know that you love it, maybe I should go back and visit that world.
It's definitely more young adult, but it's like it's got a lot of that like dystopian faction-esque vibe, and it has a lot of like she picks like combat faction. It's very similar, you know what I mean? She goes from being like a nice, quiet being to like this enforcement level and this just like whole. So I instantly took to it because I was like, oh yes. A new motion.
That's awesome. I also was instantly hooked. Like by maybe page 20, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta know what's happening next. I had concerns at the beginning. Like one of my first notes was I was worried we were gonna be like, she's just perfect. She's super small, but she's super powerful and she doesn't struggle. She doesn't learn any lessons. But that is wrong. And I actually think that the author did a really realistic job of like mentioning if we're going to go double down on this frail, she's smaller, what she had to do to compensate for that and like think on her feet, try get creative because they fight each other a lot. Like the cadets fight each other a lot. So yeah, the author Rebecca Yarros did a really good job of being like, nope, things didn't magically resolve themselves for her. Yeah, she had to put in effort.
Violet is probably one of my all-time favorite female leads.
Aww.
I just thought she was such a well-rounded character from like what I mean is she does like the enemies thing, but she doesn't drag it out for too long.
True.
And her reason for having an enemy is like reasonable. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I feel like she showed a lot of growth. She knew when to stand up for herself and when to kind of like fold. Like I just really liked reading about her as a character. I thought she was a very well-rounded, like a female lead I want to get behind.
Oh, totally. No, I totally agree. I liked her. Like I said, after we got past that a little bit, I was like, oh, nope, that's not the thing. And I super liked her from there on out. And I think she made really, for lack of a better word, like logical decisions.
Yes.
You know?
Like when she doesn't tell on Xaden at the and I'm assuming it's Xaden. Listen, I read this book. I don't listen to audiobooks. I've swerved spoilers like it's my side job. I have no idea how you pronounce it. So like, I'm just going with like my gut and what I said. So if you listen to the audiobook and you're like, how dare you, Jordan? That's how I dare.
Yeah. You're like, that's why. No, yeah, I think that's how it's printed. I mean,
I would assume.
That's what I would assume.
But
yeah, no, I really, really liked Violet. And I wrote down, it's funny that you also wrote down notes of Divergent meets Game of Thrones. I wrote down, this is a lot like Game of Thrones, House of Dragons. I wrote that down. And I also, we're going to save it for the end, but there's another book I was like, oh, I see what's coming because it reminded me so much. It reminded me of another book.
Okay.
Last quarter. We'll talk about that when we get there.
Okay.
But yes.
So one of my first, literally bullet point 2. Okay. So, you know, this is super early on. The second bullet point that I have, which is super early on. So, you know, it's just like first 50 pages probably. I put, Dane is bringing her down and this whole setup is really sketchy. She's not supposed to find something out, I presume.
Yes. But well, you were right.
I don't know that Dane knows.
I don't think he knows till later either. At that point.
I only think he knows that his dad does the setup. I don't think he knows what we find out at the very, very end. And I don't want to say it because we'll go into it.
No, I agree with you.
I don't think he knows. I guess what I really struggled with in the beginning is why her mom suddenly changed her mind. Like, did not care if she died. Like, there's just something about being forced into this and then also having so many people want to immediately force her out. Like, Dane is like, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here, like 100 times. And that to me is like, why are you saying that so much? Because it doesn't feel like that was coming from a place of true love.
Gotcha.
It felt like they didn't want her to find something in the.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Good point. A good point. I didn't even think of that. I thought of, okay, they're just really selling like the being more fragile and small. He was just so worried. He didn't believe in her that because characters do die left and right in this book. Left and right.
I was there. I have something that actually, fuck it. I write down in all capitals, the professor just straight up snaps that kid's neck.
Oh my God, yeah.
When that happened, I was just like, holy crap. I like put down my book and I was like, they just kill anybody. Like,
they
not
do.
A singular bother to be had.
No remorse. In the first 100 pages, they're starting their trials to be in their faction of the college, and kids are just dying left and right.
They literally have a Hunger Games roll call in the morning.
Yes, exactly.
Like what?
And people just no emotion there. That was okay. So I have a lot to say about her mom, because when we talk about the no emotion, I have a lot to say about her mom. Like
something's up there.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think we know all of it yet in this book. We don't know all of it yet this book.
I think that the mom killed the dad.
I wrote that down too. I literally wrote that note down. I was going to bring that up.
I feel like he, based on the note he left her in that book, I think that she
orchestrated it somehow.
Yeah, like, because he knew what was up. He probably had a problem with it. He wanted her to be a scribe too, and that's also bothering me.
Yeah, like because I think the dad wanted Violet to find out, so he wanted her to be a scribe like he was, because he was leaving her like secret messages. And obviously, I don't know, but I think in because there's supposed to be 5 books, right? But anyway,
she said it's going to be 5 total. Yeah.
Okay, I think I could see in the future. I'm not sure, but the dad leaving more secret messages. Yeah,
but they burn everything. So
they do.
They've also made a lot of comments in this book, I thought, that allude to the fact that people are going to burn down history and rewrite it.
Yes.
So there's something in that's also kind of eerie. Like, it already happened, and she did say that. So that could be all it is. But there's something in me that's making me think, is this going to come up again where people want to burn the books?
I think so too. No, I totally think you're right. I think that's because I think that the mom, because again, she's really high up. There is a king, and she's not the queen, but she's pretty high up in the army, or the fighter factions, I suppose. But mom shady. She's doing shady stuff. And why? Because didn't Violet switch from being a scribe to her mom saying you need to go to the writers faction or part of the college, just within a few weeks?
Yeah. She gave her a couple months, because she trained for a couple months, whereas these people have been training their whole lives. It, like I said, the reason that she suddenly switched is so strange to me. There's something more there, and that's bothering me. What if her dad knew that she could become something big? Because the dragons make a point to say that nature needs to level itself.
Yes.
Or what is the phrase? I love it, actually.
It's something, I know exactly what you're talking
about. Seeks equality. Something. It actually reminds me of a proverb you used to say to me. Do you know what I'm thinking of?
The water seeks its own level?
Yes!
Yes. Yeah.
That's exactly what it makes me think of.
It is very, I think it is like seeks light, almost. Seeks
calls to lick.
Thank you. I cannot speak. Thank you. No, I totally agree. So let's just talk about Dane for a second as a character.
I would love to show Dane.
All right,
honestly, I wrote, okay. I wrote, I'm already obsessed with Zayden. Don't waste my time on Dane. And then the next bullet point is, seriously, let's all take a turn punching Dane. Why does he want her to run so much?
Yes, no, I still agree. So I was torn, because at first I was like, dude's just looking out. He's logical. Yeah, apparently she's 4 feet tall. She can't do anything. She's so small. Again, because they really stress that. So at first I was like, maybe she just really, will struggle. But then he doubles down, and it's very rude and inconsiderate. Yes. Yeah.
And I also thought okay, so at first I was okay with it because she made it clear she did not want to be a writer.
Exactly.
So fine. But when she starts clearly changing her mind, it's
No support. He gave her no support.
Yeah, you're pretty much just telling her she can't do it.
Exactly. Oh my God. And there's nothing to me. If I had to write a book on things I find unattractive, someone who follows every single rule for the sake of rules.
What, like?
Oh my God.
Especially like when Zayden's like, "What would you have done?"
Exactly.
If I like, and he's like, "Monster die."
And then she's supposed to be like, yeah, I'm going to pick you.
But run away. Ew. And when he kisses her.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about Violet, that was actually one of the first things I wrote down, was how much I loved that she took the kiss and then was like, oh no. Never mind. Like, it wasn't like she tried to make it work. It wasn't like a puppy love situation. Like, it wasn't a Tamlin situation, but it also like wasn't like it was like, I love that she instantly just walked away. And it actually made me think of, do you remember high school?
Yes. What are you going to say?
Do you remember that there was a kind gentleman? It has nothing to do with him. There was a kind gentleman that was interested in me, and he kissed me, and I did the exact same thing. I was like, oh, never again. Yeah. It was just like instant, like,
you're like, no.
Yeah, it's like everything was fine, and then instant ick unlocked. Yeah. So I just was like, I get it, Violet, man. Yeah.
You're like, been there. I do remember now. And that is basically what she does. Like, because they definitely allude they've been BFFs since they were kids. She's got feelings for him. She's got the hots for him. And then he just, no. I really hated the whole, I would not interfere. There's actually memes online because I am trying to dodge spoilers, but this isn't a spoiler. It's a meme where, there's like the guy walking with the girlfriend and then he sees another woman, so he looks back. And it's Dane and Violet, hands in hand, and then the other woman is the rules. Yeah.
The code.
Yes. The codex. Yeah. Like, that is so true. Also, another reason I didn't like Dane? Sorry, that was very loud.
No, come at me. Why?
Because he basically straight up says, like, I've been having, I was going to say the F word, I've been effing the woman Amber for a year. We got very close.
No, he said they used to be close, or like during first year.
What does that mean?
I agree. And then also, he does the whole, like, we can't be together now, but maybe in the future. First of all, yuck.
No. Just all of it was icky. He did not do himself any favors, like whatsoever. And okay, so
I literally hate him.
I hate him too. Another fan theory, not a spoiler, just a fan theory I saw so long ago, not even reading this book or knowing the synopsis, is that the TikTok girlie said that since it's a 5-book series, maybe we were going to be SJ masked and Dane is the Reese.
No.
And Zayden
First of all, if that happened, the level of a character arc she would have to give them both for me to sit in the same chair and tell you that I was wrong. Mm-hmm. I don't think you could do it.
I don't think so either. No.
Second is their dragons being mates. There's no way. I think that this is as close as they can get to the humans being mates.
That's what I wrote down. So I'm so glad you said that because I literally wrote that down. I'm like, so they're mates. Like, basically, we're like, I think they're going to be, is our mates going to come into this? Are we going to learn about human mates?
I thought the same thing. And the reason I think that no is because they're, those excerpts at the top from varying documents, beginning of each chapter. There is one that says dragon love is like on a different level than human love. Like humans could not understand. So that's why I think that there can't be an equivalent. But I do think that them being linked like this is as close as one could possibly be.
If they can get to it. Okay.
I think she's appeasing me.
That makes sense. Yes, because like I want them to be mates. I want them to be mated as well.
I would eat it up. And I also feel like, even if there's 5 books, they can be together 5 books. I'm fine with that.
Yes. So that I love Zayden. I'm obsessed. Do I have concerns when I remember this conspiracy theory from way before that there's so many books? How is she going to? Because I'm gonna put a pin in that when I tell you the other book it reminds me of at the end when we get there.
Okay.
Because I think it could follow a similar trajectory.
So here's what I'm thinking though, is that first of all, Reese and Farah were only not together in book 1. And one could argue they had like 30% of the book together.
They do.
You don't think about it because it doesn't happen towards the end, and then there's little snippets. But if you reflect on it, there's a lot of moments. But then there's still 5 books and ongoing. They're probably not gonna get divorced.
No, I don't think so. I think
it's unlikely.
I think it's unlikely. I don't see Dane not being the Tamlin. Yes. I think Dane's the Well, I just think Dane is he does not believe in her. He doesn't push her to be the best form of herself. Yeah.
Exactly. I think too, they end this with Xaden still like being obsessed with Violet, but Violet being like, you played me and I need a minute. Also, another reason I love her. Thank you. Honestly, make him work for it round 2. I'm fine with that.
Exactly.
Honestly, I want to watch him come forward again.
Exactly. So, all right, we're going to get into my point. Okay, so there's a betrayal. And when they really start to double down on this, like, trust, do you trust Xaden? Do you trust, like we've talked about in a previous episode, when characters start to do that, I'm like, oh, they're going to betray you. The more you say you trust them, the more they're going to betray you. So then, I was like, okay, he's hiding something from her. And it's going to be, he's hiding something. Like, it's going to be, and it gave me strong Castile and Poppy vibes.
But,
from Blood and Ash. That's the other book.
Though?
Yes.
Taking out, like, some of the later books, because you and I both know, like, Sharon and I personally loved them, and then felt like maybe the length could be toned on back. Yes. But I think that I loved that trajectory, and until it felt like that, I ate up those first 3 books like that.
Me
100%.
Too.
And so I'm fine. Take me on the journey. Make him earn it round 2. Be friends to enemies, to lovers, to enemies, to lovers. Do it. I don't care.
Absolutely. No, 1,000%. I'm 1,000% down if that, like, because I do want him to work for it in the second book. Because in this book, I definitely think he falls first, but she says it first. She's more open with her emotions first.
Yes. And I think that she's just the only one offering up nuggets. Like, he's offering for, like, he shows her. I think she has a really good point. Like, when she even tells him she loves him, that he shows her all the time. And I appreciate that. But I think at the same time, towards the end, like, even when she says she won't sleep with him until he says he like only wants her and stuff, I think that she has a good way of making him, drawing a line and saying that he has to work for certain things.
I agree. I totally agree. Yes. And I also really respected and I liked her as a character that I thought was unique is before she knows that he's hiding these things from her and she feels betrayed. Mm-hmm. She basically says, like, I'm going to take the plunge. I'm going to be brave and I'm going to say my feelings and that I love you. And if you don't return them, you don't, or whatever. If you don't say it, she says it. But I was like, honestly, that's really refreshing. And I loved that about Violet. Cause I was like, I think that she went into it very level-headed. She's like, I love him. I'm going to say this, but she does not instantly forgive him when she does learn of what she considers betrayal.
Yeah. And I think that she just has a very realistic, like, it's not too much aggressive dramatics in either way. You know what I mean? Like, too much hate. That's another thing I don't like is, like, when they're in the enemies portion. And usually they're not even good enough enemies. At least these people have, like, unalive past that they're trying to deal with. Like, they genuinely have a reason to, like, be stressed and hate each other. Yes. But, like, they're not overselling that either. Like, no, but I hate him. Like, no. I thought she towed that line so well that like I said, Violet.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Her. Me too. No, I totally agree. I love this book so much. It was so good. I also really appreciated too that she was like, I'm super mad at you. I hate you. Mm-hmm. But I do still love you. Because again, that's also so true. Yeah. How would she have fallen out of love in a span of 30 minutes? Yeah. But, so when she finds out that should we dive into a little bit of what the betrayal was? Sure. I have thoughts there. Okay. And I'm confused in a few portions.
So realistically, I think the betrayal comes down to he knowingly has a rebellion building up, which we barely know about. We only know at the very end, I think. Like when Brennan comes out, we really do only know that there is a rebellion. up until this point, until we have Brennan and they take her to wherever this undisclosed location is, realistically, the only thing that we know is that they were aiding other people against these Vernon.
I guess so. Yeah, and Vernon
Venine?
and Wyvern. Yeah, Venine, maybe Venine. Well, no, because don't they say it's like vermin, or am I making that up?
Maybe that's just how I thought of it too, but I
Me
can't
too.
remember if there's an R in that, like an actual R.
It might be Venin or like Venine. You're right.
So that's really all you think, and she's upset about that because she feels like, which also, how did she just now look around and realize he only hangs out with other rebellion people?
True. Yeah, like that he doesn't. And she had to have known because they even have that whole like political capital basically event where there only certain people are allowed to attend, and anyone that was a child of the previous rebellion can't attend. So you got to be knowing.
Yeah, it's like she gets sensitive in the moment where like I did appreciate that too. Like she goes to that event and it like opens her eyes that like how offensive it should be to Liam. But like leading up until that moment, until she's physically there looking at him, she's like, oh no, wait. This is kind of honestly, this is kind of a shitty thing to do.
True. Oh my gosh. And I genuinely loved their friendship. Liam and Violet.
Did you cry? I cried.
I did. I definitely teared up. I was like, I knew someone was going to die because she was killing off characters left and right. And I was going to write, I was going to write my book up if it was the little gold dragon.
Okay, so I'm so glad you said that because one of my last notes is I thought the gold dragon was going to die.
Me too. And I was going to be mad.
When she does the final time jump. Is that when you thought? I thought for sure.
Mm-hmm. Me too. And also when they were like, hide, and she couldn't keep up, I was like, oh my God, no, she's so, don't do this to me. And they did it.
I thought, is that how they level her getting 2 dragons? But there's got to be a reason she gets 2 dragons.
True. I actually have a theory about that, which also breaks my heart because I literally wrote down like in all caps, if any of her dragons die, to me, it's like going to be a very emotional experience.
For sure.
Taryn, the bigger dragon's name, just guessing. I'm wondering if, because they say at the end, what is the little dragon's name again? It's like Not Amarantha.
Goldie. I'm calling her Goldie.
Goldie. I love that. She grows up and she loses her power just because her type of dragon. So she doesn't even have that power anymore. And she's bigger now. So I'm hoping that's not foreshadowing for the future books that the Taryn's gonna die.
Oh no!
You know what I mean?
I took it as whatever power she expended, essentially like unlocked the next phase of growth for her.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they did say that they would lose it as they aged, which is fine. I took it as like whatever power she expended almost like leveled her up.
Right? No, true.
She evolved.
Yes. But if anything happens to the dragons, I'll be very upset. Oh, also when she learns of the betrayal, the dragons knew. That hurt my heart more than Xaden's betrayal.
It does, because it almost feels like everybody is in on the secret but her, and they just like didn't give her the chance to like have a choice.
Yes. Yeah. Especially, no, I totally agree.
But I like that they showed that even the dragons felt guilty, and like I'm gonna go with Taryn.
I like it.
Taryn, like, literally said to Xaden, like, listen, honestly, you should have said something sooner. I was trying to give you that, like, space, and you shit on my patience.
You did.
She's mad at me, and I'm sick of your shit.
Basically. No, I love that he did that, too. And, like, you could tell they were already bonded because he was distressed. He was upset with how it happened. And it was also hurtful, I think, because she has this character trajectory of feeling kind of like a failure to her mom. People don't believe she can do it. And then she's literally kicking butt. Like, she's doing an amazing job. Again, using all these different ways to be successful. She's doing great. And then I think she felt this like sense of like pride and just, wow, I can really do this. Like, I'm special enough to have these 2 dragons. And then for a moment she sits there and thinks like, oh, well, this was orchestrated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they didn't really want me, you know?
Yeah, I think, but
heartbreaking.
They cleaned it up, honestly.
They do.
Just watching Liam die.
I know.
I'm going to say something fucked up. Here you go. Here's the facts.
Okay.
Usually they can anything. And I mean TV shows, movies, books. Usually they kill a side character. And I'm like,
yeah.
There's got to be collateral somewhere.
Yeah.
You know? But this is like probably the first book where a death genuinely was like, outside of like a main character, you know what I mean? Where a death happened in a side character. And I was just like, ooh.
That's not good. Yeah.
That doesn't settle well.
No, I agree. It was very sad. I loved her and Liam's friendship and like their whole, and then
his personality.
Death was very sad. I know.
Okay. Did you also have to Google what a parapet is?
Yes, because I was envisioning something different than I think that I was envisioning it very different.
Yeah, so my first note was, what is a parapet? Then it just kept happening. The word kept popping up, so I put update. Googled it. Looks like a tiny ledge on a building.
So I thought it was like the circle around a tire. Not a tire, a castle, like a tower, not a tire.
Oh,
a
like
castle.
some like Super Mario shit.
Yeah, like the circle part of it, but I think that's a turret.
No, yeah, it's almost like it looks like an addition, almost like where you would, like if you had like a thin rain gutter and you had like another line, like imagine like almost like a balance beam on the edge of like a roof line.
Okay.
That's what it was. Because I was like, listen, I can't picture
what's happening
that you're selling me right now.
What are your people be sliding off and just gone?
Or wind. But okay, one of my favorite quotes she says early on when she's instantly attracted to Zayden that I wrote down is, "You're not attracted to toxic men." Yeah. That's like her pep talk with herself. You're not attracted to toxic men. That's beautiful.
It was. I thought there were some that were so funny. I laughed at that one too. That one was so good. What I wrote down something else that was like literally so funny that Taryn said. That was just like, I felt like his quips and his personality.
He's
hilarious.
If he dies, I die.
I mean, same. Well, apparently a lot of people die.
I'm scared too because, again, there's already another book out. So, like, people could be listening to this, like, laughing at us right now, being like, look, my precious summer child, keep going.
Just keep reading. Just keep finding out.
I can't hurt anymore after Liam, I hope. I hope I get, like, a little breather between words. If that's cool, Rebecca.
Can you pause? I'm going to say something messed up. I would have preferred the Rhiannon friend, even though I love her name, die than Liam. I mean, I loved her, but Liam, I felt like was such a good character for her as a friend, and so was Rhiannon. But she would have been a character I could have emotionally moved past.
I get your point, but then it only leaves her with like the boys and his family, if that makes sense. And I really hate when authors do that to conveniently like tie up a friendship group, if that makes sense. Like where they make it like all his friends or all her friends or whatever. I like that she has a friend that she made on her own that is like truly hers. Yes. My fear is that Rhiannon's a betrayer in the future.
I could see that vibes, and I hope you're wrong. I hope we're wrong. I hope she's not.
Can't be hurt by her. I would really like to not be.
Me too. I know, because I thought that too. I was like, oh, they really double down on themes of like trust. This is very cutthroat throughout the whole book, and I was like, oh, she's getting.
Ooh. One of the quotes from the top chapter that's from Brennan's book is friends come and go. Like no one will be friends forever. Like the time will come is essentially like the summary of the quote. And I was like, that's when I started doubting Rhiannon, as I was like, oh no, he's pretty much saying like, it's precious that you think you found a real friend here.
Oh, I hope not. I really hope that that's not true for her. Cause I agree. I don't think it'd be healthy if she just kind of runs away to be with this band of people that are loyal to Zayden.
Right.
And not that they wouldn't be loyal to her, but you know what I mean? And then I was, yeah.
I mean, they did it with Poppy, right? Poppy did. Back to your thing. They did the exact same thing. They just, bloop, here's your new
all
friends.
Her people she knew were gone. And what also, I had some parallels with that, with like just the political structure too of like, okay, these are secrets that you don't know about. your government structure or your political structure in the book is hiding it from you. You know what I mean? Like that. But I eat that up. Like, it was amazing. Oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, this is wonderful. Also, side note, we will be friends forever. Brennan is wrong in his quote. We will be friends forever.
The episode where I draw the line.
Better not. I'll find you. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, do we want to talk about Brennan? If we're just while we're saying his name.
Yeah. What the fuck?
WTF. Yes.
Yeah. I honestly, like, I had no words. I sat there and I was just like, just pure Pikachu shock face. No words.
Same, because I was like, oh, I felt he had died. I thought that was part of the trajectory. There was no part of me that didn't believe that he was passed away. And then they're like, well, she heard a familiar voice. And I was like, oh, who's going to be there? It's going to, and then they said Brennan, and I was like, oh my goodness. And he's been a part of the rebellion this whole time. Faked his death.
Who came again? Do you remember? Is it Xaden who was supposed to
supposedly? Or is
it Xaden's dad who was
I think Xaden's dad. Which means
they enlightened him. He came along. Which brings me to my next thought. And I want your opinion on this, because this is an opinion I had after the book. So I put down the book. I couldn't talk to you. I couldn't stop thinking about the book. Yeah. So my brain just kept like, do more ideas here, Jordan. Yeah. And one of them is, I feel like Mira might know.
I do too. Oh my gosh. I think
Mira's a double agent.
Yeah. I think so. Because at the beginning, I didn't think it, but then as we get towards the end, and she's like, she sees things eyes wide open.
Yeah. And they're too close, but she's also not a rule follower.
No.
There's a lot about her and her obvious relationship with her mother versus, like, she's a double agent. She's showing up to be the best she can look. She has to be a double agent.
I will be so excited if she is.
If she's not, and she's a loyalist, I'm going to really be heartbroken. That's another way that she can break my heart.
Me too. And we need to get more in the future books, more of the shady details about the mom. Like, we need to know.
Well, we have to. I think we have to find out. Like, I just think I'm worried that she's going to be like, she's going to be a really bad person.
Oh, I think so. I think she, like I said, I agree with you. I think she could add, or she orchestrated it. Which
I
is
think
really
she's
messed up.
Keeping these walls up. I think she's running a lot more than we know about. It's worrisome.
It is worrisome. It is really worrisome. Also, I totally ate up and I loved all the world building with the types of dragons and like all the different like folklore. I just thought that was so interesting. I loved it.
So I agree, but I also put like, I will never remember the different types of dragons and their tails and their colors and their names and their factoids about their type. I was like, sweetheart, you have way too much faith in me. You need to have like a wiki in the back if you expect me to file these little nuggets. I'm not a scribe.
No.
I can assure you I would not be a scribe. So I have no business being out here trying to memorize these kinds of facts.
That's so funny. I thought that yes. I don't remember the majority of them. I just remember, like, obviously Terrence, the big bad, super cool, the dragon we all wanted.
Oh, and then shitting on Jack Barlow.
Yes. Oh my God. The worst. He could not let his BS go. He really couldn't. He was so terrible.
He had small energy.
He did. He really did. Also, I don't remember how you're going to say his name because it also starts with the T. He acted like he was her friend, and then they go out to do the bonding thing where they go into the Vale or the Valley or however. Yeah. They were closer. It's something like that. It starts with a T. He totally screwed her over. Completely.
What's crazy is that all these people speak up on her in groups all the time. Like, she's supposed to be so weak. Like, pony up. Like, not one of them had big energy.
No.
Also,
other than Zayden.
Oof. So going into the room attack. So when people snuck in her room at night.
Yes.
I put down it was either going to be Zayden. It was either going to be that chick.
Imogen?
That ended up training her. Yes.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be Imogen, or I thought it was going to be who it ended up being, Amber. I was like, it's going to be. I was like, I'm gonna be so annoyed, but it's definitely gonna be a petty bitch thing.
Right. Which is like,
so I was like, it's gotta be one of those two, right? Like out of jelly donut energy.
Yes, absolutely. I doubled down again. What made me so mad about Dane's comment is he was so close with
I just like thought that you were gonna step on like somebody who like I knew their character.
Oh,
ew, what am I?
Yeah,
what am I?
He didn't believe her, and then he had the gall, the audacity to believe she was like, not believe her and be like, Amber wouldn't do that.
Yeah, make him stop.
He was terrible. Oh, another point I wrote down when she learns her powers. Did it make you think of Thor? Infinity War. I literally imagined her as Thor, just like camera in the air, hit with lightning, and then illuminates the whole sky.
I imagined it being more like,
oh, gotcha. That makes sense.
Like that's a Raven vibe.
Oh yeah, I mean that makes probably more sense than like Thor, but that's what I wrote down.
But I did say, like, as they revealed her power, and they tell you like a second later, but I was like, oh my God, then when she first kissed Xaden, remember how she saw the flash?
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, what if she can control weather? I thought it was going to be all weather, though. I was hoping,
that was been sick.
I was hoping for all the seasons.
Just lightning.
I'll settle for lightning.
Yes. Oh, and speaking of that, so that's his like nickname for her, that she's violent. Like she is the weapon. Violence. I think it's cute.
I had seen, so before we read this book, I had seen like quotes about like violence, and I knew it was this book, but I was like, I remember reading the quotes being like, ew, I don't know, violence. And now that like I've read it, I like precious.
So cute that he calls her that. Okay. Yes, I cannot say how much I absolutely loved, again, the last quarter. Heartbreaking, sad, but I was at the edge of my seat. And I honestly am, it's not a third act breakup, but I ate it up, Poppy and Castile. I eat this up, the betrayal, and then she's going to make him pay for it.
Yes.
I love that. I don't know if that's...
And I love it that they use it as like a drag out tactic. You know what I mean? I'm fine with that. I love it so much more than a misunderstanding.
Oh, me
Betray
too.
me, bitch.
Exactly. And then grovel and tell me how you were wrong for like a whole book.
I love groveling.
Yeah, exactly. Because then, yes, exactly. He's like, I love you. Of course I love you. Also broke my heart in the best way when she was like, I loved you. And he's like, you love me. And I was like,
you still love me. I do, Xaden.
If Violet's not available,
I forgive you.
I absolutely love that. I love like too, when she's going through it, because even though Jack Barlow or whatever is terrible, she came with her lightning powers, basically. And so she finds out down. She smote him on the mountainside. And she is like, broom.
Okay, Maui, how did you
smoke
just on deck?
That actually is I don't know. Yeah, she smote him on the mountainside. And what Xaden says, because Dane's like, I don't even remember what loser Dane says.
Something in the little trajectory.
Exactly. Some small DE, some small energy comment. And Xaden. Yes. And what Xaden says to her is just like, it's a little hard. It's a little rough, but it's perfect for what she needed. Yes.
Because what I like about Xaden that I think is so important to her character is like he's the first person to just like tell her like it is. He lets her process how she's going to deal with the actual facts, except for, of course, his betrayal, right? And I think that's why it hurts so much more, because he is the only person to ever be like, here's the data. You do with that what you will. Some people need to die.
And exactly. And not make assumptions for her, not make assumptions she can't do it. And then, yes. So I have one point that I really, really, really want to say. Not only was Dane small energy for the majority of the book, put her down, didn't believe in her, was messing around with that other girl that then tried to carry all these bad things. He also betrays her in the end.
Also, okay, so I wrote this down. And I was honestly shocked that I was right, and I was really sad about it.
Mm.
I wrote, and this is the first time he does it, after she knows what he does and he tries to do it without permission. I said, Dane cupped her cheek thinking he took a look at something he shouldn't have. And then they kept calling out him touching her face. And I just was like, he's betraying her. But I was like, he's acting too cool about it.
Exactly. But I think
it's way too cool.
Exactly. That's what makes him so bad.
Yes.
So bad.
He's on his own, like, justice trajectory.
Obsessed with the rules. Again, obsessed with the rules. And then they do kind of talk about how, I don't remember exactly when, and I wish I did, but it was like, because some cadets that show specific powers get axed, get murdered, like that one kid that was murdered by the teacher.
Yes. The professor straight up snaps his neck and was like, there'll be none of that.
Exactly. So they say later, they have to keep Dane like within line because he has a power there. He could read thoughts. He can see memories, but they keep him in line. So I'm like, wait, is Dane going to have a different trajectory or different arc in later books when he's like, I am tired of being kept in line because of my power? And he'll start to get upset?
I think Dane's going to take the exact opposite. I think that Dane is going to be a strict rule follower. I think that Dane is going to try to convince her she's on the wrong side, that he can save her by coming over. And I think that Dane is going to be a nice little knife in her back later down the road.
Ooh, yeah.
He's going to be a loose end that didn't get tied up.
Ooh.
And you know how I feel about loose ends.
Not good. They're not good. Dane, terrible.
No.
With bad characters.
That's like the one thing that I agree about. Like whenever I read like mafia or like whatever dark, morally gray romances and they're like fixers, I'm always like, well,
yeah.
Anytime the mess is left behind, anytime there's a loose end, you are unsuccessful in your endeavors. Yeah, they always come back.
You did say that in One Dark Window when the guy runs off into the forest.
Always tie up your loose ends because they always come back. I'm sick of reading about excused lost ends getting tied up.
But when Xaden admits that he was jealous of when Dane does give her the kiss she doesn't really want, but she wanted that when he admits he's jealous, I was like, tell me more. Say more.
Mine also had some bonus chapters in it from Xaden's point of view.
Ooh,
and it was like, yeah, you can borrow it. It was
my God, yes.
I think it's like the Barnes and Noble one, and it's like his point of view during like a couple of those things. Like when she gets kissed, like a couple of those early scenes is his point of view. You can borrow it.
I totally want to borrow
it.
You. Thank you. It's because we're friends forever.
It's because we will defy his logic.
Yes. Oh, yes. I love that. Okay. Yeah, we will define Brennan or whatever's logic. That okay, I want to hear one of your points because I'm going to wait for my next point I really want to say.
Okay. So I thought, which I thought was interesting, because I feel like you and I read such a span of spice in general, right?
Yes.
Like this book is a higher spice than even One Dark Window. But like there are plenty of books that we read that are fantasy based that don't have really a lot of spice in them.
Yeah.
Or even closed door, right? Like Throne of Glass is pretty much closed door.
Yeah.
I thought that them like kissing for the first time was such a spicy scene. Like, I was like, this is like so well written that I was like so sold on it. I was like, oh my God, this is such a spicy scene and nothing really happened.
But she writes the kissing scenes so good. So good. So, and you know what it made me think of what I wrote down too? Is that, when you first start dating someone and you're falling in love and like just making out is like the greatest thing. It had such great chemistry. It was so good. I loved it.
I love their communication. We talked about this in another one. This is another couple so far that I feel like will go the distance. I feel like I'm gonna commit to their excellence.
Yes, I hope so. Please don't let us down, Rebecca Yarros. Please don't throw in something crazy, but I can see it. I can see them going the distance as well. I know. I'm like, oh, if they do. And I think you're right for the whole trajectory. They can't because of the but the bonded dragons. Like, I think
Somebody would have to die, and they've already kind of set that up as a domino effect of terror. So
let's ex-nay that. That's not going to happen.
Let's maybe like pump the brakes on them, Rebecca. Maybe we just like let some people live.
Yeah, there are 5 characters that, again, I will riot. The 2 dragons that are the main dragons that are bonded. Obviously,
all
Violet
3 dragons. You have to take all 3.
She's my 5th one, so she's bonded too to them.
Yeah, because she is the mate of.
Right. So we have the mated ones and then the little one.
Yeah, so you have 3 dragons total.
Yes. And then the 2, Violet and Xaden. If any of those 5 characters die, I will be traumatized and upset. Traumatized.
I'm going to really struggle with Mira.
Really?
Mira is going to be a hard death for me if she's going to.
I hope not.
I guarantee you she's going to be at book 4 or 5 death. This is going to be a grand finale punch in the nuts.
I really hope not. And it's so interesting too, because like, okay, let's get into family structure real quick. I'm an older sister and you're a younger sister. Mm-hmm. For me, when I read Mira, I'm like, you just are kind of a bad sister. But she's good. She's a good sister. And I do think she's a double agent, and I do think she sets Violet up for success. And she does a lot to like help her with like little tips and tricks. But maybe it's like older daughter guilt that I'm like, I wanted more from Mira and their sister relationship.
What do you want from her? Given you have to really think about like she already is
valid.
And she's already like in a lot of ways. And she sets her up for success, like her leathers, her boots, her everything, right?
That's true.
The book. She sets her up for success back to back to back to back. I think she just does the extent of what she can do given her position and given how Violet feels. Because up until this whole thing happens, Violet is very ignorant to what is happening out there. And I don't know that she would have believed it until she saw it.
True. So maybe that's a part of it, like feeling that Mira should have told her sooner, but also, what would she have said? And would Violet have believed it? And would she go against her mom? Like that,
what could Violet have done in the past? Violet has changed a lot throughout the course of this book. So I don't think, like she even says, like the Violet that enters and the Violet she is now, like she is the one who changed. She just wanted to be like a heads down scribe before. So like, I think that Mira was just trying to honor what her dad wanted. Yeah, and even Brennan wanted it for her. Like pretty much everybody but her mom wanted it.
Right. Which is interesting because then it's also like what Violet, she even says deep down, this is a better fit for her. You know what I mean? Like it ended up being truly what she wanted, not the scribe path, even though she uses that skill set to help her. So it's interesting. Yeah, I thought that was very interesting. And you just reminded me of something. They do say, I'd forgotten this, that Mira fights and pushes back to her mom.
Yeah, it's like the beginning scene she fights.
Yes, and I had totally forgotten that.
So I think first I'm going to be hurt if Mira isn't a part of the rebellion.
Yeah,
and second,
I think she is.
She has to be. She's got to be a double agent. I'm sold on this. She's going to die.
I hope not. Does she know about Brennan? If she's a double agent, she has to.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Especially because, and I did think it was always interesting that they brush off being an only child very casually all the time. Like they make jokes all the time. Like, I don't want to be an only child. Don't die.
True.
That's like really sweeping one death.
It's like, okay, bye.
Sorry about your death.
Oh my gosh. I cannot wait for I'm assuming it's going to come. I hope so. Because they say that the mom respects Mira, tolerates Violet or something, but she loved Brennan. So I can't wait for the mom to find out Brennan's a rebel.
This is going to be a Lionel moment for me.
Yes.
And I am going to love it.
Mm-hmm. Get that comeuppance.
Brennan could also die for real.
Oh, he also could. I think that is more likely than Mira, and hopefully that gives you peace. You don't think so?
No. Here's why. There's going to be a moment. There's going to be a moment, and Mira is going to dive into the path for Violet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's going to be the moment, and it's going to be a big impact one towards the end. True. Or we just get to mourn her death at the end, close the book, and be real sad like I felt about Liam, but like a lot worse.
Yeah. Oh, well, I hope not.
You heard it here first.
Well, Rebecca Yarros, if you happen to be listening, if there's any way you could not write that,
she's like, listen, she's been dead since page 1.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, book 4 got it planned out. Oh my God, what if we get to book 4 or whenever it comes out, and that's literally like page 1? Psychic.
You know what I'm gonna do?
What?
I'm gonna glow.
You're gonna cry.
I'm gonna do it. I was right to her, and I'm gonna feel great about it. Because I love nothing more than being correct. It's like, it really tickles my fancy in a way that I can't describe.
So then you will cry and then
be right. Yeah, it'll be like it's like melancholy. I think it's the actual.
Oh yeah, morose. I could totally see Brendan dying, like for reals.
Yeah, I can too. They do that sometimes, right?
They
like
do.
You've already accepted his death once.
Yeah, that's very true. Oh my goodness. I cannot move past the fact that you have bonus chapters from Zayden's point of view, and I feel like I need them. I feel like
I'm gonna let you have them.
I know, but I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they are PG.
Okay. Okay.
So
we're not in his thoughts.
So for whoever doesn't follow us on TikTok, I have to tell this story. So I had found this book months ago before we had dedicated to reading it. I knew I was going to read it one day. I just like am the kind of person where if I'm not going to read it right now, I want like a deal on the book.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a very popular book. Like there are no deals. Well, I was at like a secondhand store locally, right? I find this. I see it's like got the black pages. They had other Fourth Wing used books there that weren't. And it was like way cheaper than those books. And I was like, why? Like, this is obviously cool with black sprayed edges. Like, obviously you're limited edition. You're coming home with Jordan. I opened it up and somebody had crossed out every single cuss word in it. Yeah. Every single cuss word.
That's so crazy.
So, but they did it with pencils. So if I like invest in an eraser, like brand new, no problem.
Who took the time to do that?
I imagine
it's very funny.
They also underline some things. Like it's like OG Kindle highlights.
What do they underline?
Just like key facts, like little foreshadowing, things like that, where you're like, yeah, like I see what you were getting at there. Like, or they starred some notes. You know what I mean?
Okay. So they were doing like low key spoilers, but like not spoilers for the next. And then they're like, let me give this book back. Honestly, maybe there were too many F words for like them to want to pick up Iron Flame. I don't know. Oh, maybe. I don't know. That's hilarious. I don't know.
I laughed the whole time, so I just had it. But again, it's in pencil, so I know what word you're saying.
What they're gonna say, yeah.
So, but I'm just like laughing the whole time as they have this like really censored experience of a 32-year-old adult.
That is really funny. How would you rate this book? Spice and Dark.
5 stars for me. 5 stars. I am obsessed. I'm invested. It lived in my thoughts rent free. We were not supposed to record this for at least another week, right?
Yeah, you're right.
I binged this book in 2 days. And I have a real life, I promise you. I have like a full-time job. Like I am like a mom. Like I have like a real life. So 2 days is like genuinely just like me only caring about this book. And then I started annoying you about it and was like, I need you to read this right now. And I need you to cancel every plan you have so that I can talk about it because I need to move on to Iron Flame, but I don't want to know.
Yes.
I don't want to know anything to spoil it here. I want to really commit to each experience as
that makes sense. That makes sense. Yes, I also would rate this as 5 stars. I think from when I picked it up to when I finished, it also was very fast. Like that went by very quick. Mm-hmm. Obsessed. I haven't been as obsessed in a book in a very long time.
100%.
To say.
Like cared so much. It instantly knew and like it never died down. It's because sometimes that happens where you like really, really get into a book in like the first 100 pages and then like midway towards the end, all of a sudden it's a completely different vibe and you're like, wow, you really teed me up to let me down. Like I was scared because of all the hype. Yes. Oh my God.
Lives up to the hype. Better than the hype. Better than the hype.
Oh yeah.
Better than the hype. Just so
Penny. Where are you at penne-wise?
Okay, so I'm gonna rate this lower penne just because the kisses were very spicy, but there's fewer spicy scenes, I think. But that makes sense because there's a lot of going on journeys, character building, emotions. So I'm gonna say like spice level, like true just spice. 2.53.
I'm leaning towards a 2.5.
Yeah.
I do think I imagine that these books are going to get spicier.
Yes.
As we go on, like kind of like ACOTAR does. I think that we're going to see that. But yeah, I'd call this 2.5. But the tension in this is
good. Phenomenal.
Like, yeah, the like feelings of love are so well done in this. I was like, I too love Zayden.
I know. Oh yeah, he's up there on male leads for sure. He joins the ranks up there.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. I'm really excited for this next book.
Me too. He better pine.
He just, honestly, if he disappoints me at any point in time, I'm going to be writing Rebecca a letter a day until I process my emotions.
Oh my gosh, so you can pre-order. I did see this, the third book that comes out in January.
I saw it. It's beautiful. I want to pre-order it.
I know. Me too. I want to pre-order
But
it.
here's what I'm struggling with, right? I have the 2 editions now of the black sprayed edges plain.
Okay. Yes.
So this one has a cute little dragon design on it. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
which one do you want?
Right. And if I commit to this new book 3, what do I do with book 1 and 2? Do I get like, or then do I just dedicate to like a dope box set? You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm just
you could. Yeah. You have all the options. You have all the choices. You have lots of
I just want my trophies to be uniform.
Yeah. You're like, I want them. That makes sense. Well, maybe they'll have the black sprayed pages soon. You can also order. I'm not
isn't
quite
that
sure.
Also lame in comparison? Like, look at my black sprayed edges. Look at my dragons. Loser. Nerd.
Well, are there other ones that are? We'll cross this bridge when we get there. You've
That's what I'm saying. I've got time
a lot of
to
options.
Evaluate my feelings. Maybe I take up edge spraying.
You could
to even it out.
Could. No, you totally could. I mean, you could.
But I did honestly. So because of my obsession with sprayed edges, my husband was like, I feel like I could do this. So I started showing him for people do it. He was like, I could do this. And I was like, would you? So he wants to spray one of my books for me to see if it works. He was like,
that's great. Which
one? Rock Bottom Girl. He wants to ombre it. It's like, what is it? Purple blue?
Yes.
Blue?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
So he wants to like ombre it. And I was like, okay.
Oh,
that would be cool.
That is really cool. That'll be beautiful. That sounds wonderful. That's so cool. I love that.
Music.
I love that.
So we'll see.
Yes.
Okay. I have a question. Well, did we cover all your in-book notes before I move on?
Yes.
Okay. Question I have for you is 500 pages of a fantasy book versus 500 pages of a contemporary. Which one do you read faster?
Fantasy.
Oh.
Fantasy. Yeah, I feel like if I like it, I eat it up. I think fantasy goes by faster for me. If I like it.
I definitely did binge this one faster, so I will keep this one a little bit out of it. But I do feel like because the first book and like world building tends to be like a little slow, just in any book, right? It's not like a negative. It's just
no. Yeah.
It just is what it is. So I sometimes feel like contemporary is easier to binge because there's no like usually their world is our world.
Right.
So you're just in the nitty gritty.
That makes sense. And I think also mood would be a big thing too. Like if I'm in the mood for a really good fantasy, it goes by really quick.
Okay. When you're ready, I have some games for you.
Okay, I'm excited.
Am I good?
No, yeah, I can keep talking about my love of Zayden, but please go. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm so ready.
Okay. First game, Mary.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm excited.
Okay, your options are Jack Barlin or Jack Barlow, Jack Barlow, Odin, and General Soren Jelly.
Who's your
last name? Oh.
Soren Gale.
Soren Gale. I'll never know that.
I love that. Soren.
I'm gonna call her the General.
I love that. Who's the second person?
Odin is one of the guys. I think you remember him. That's his name, right? Odin?
Yes, you're right. Or the General, her mom?
Yeah. I like to make it weird.
Yeah. You're like
I was like, who do I hate the most? Let me compile a list of them.
I think the mom's going to be really, really bad. and I think her mom is really messed Violet up with some self-esteem issues. I'm gonna go mom. And also, I think she's a bad politician, or general, and she needs. I'm on the rebellion side for this book. So her, I guess, marry Odin and have with Jack at some point.
That's kind of what I'm leaning towards too.
Gross. None of them are good. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a
Maybe
good
I
one.
can them all.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Praying mantis style. Post coitus. Awesome.
Okay. Would you rather fall from the parapet or be burned to death by a dragon?
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I'd rather be burned to death.
I think so too. The fall?
And that takes longer. That's
longer. You know you're dying for like a significant chunk of time. You're just like, well, this is it.
But I'm falling.
Also, it's like I'm scared of heights just in general. So I feel like falling, it would be like that Alanis Morissette ironic song where I'd be like, of course I'm falling to my death.
Isn't this ironic?
Of course I'm falling to my death. What else would it be?
Yeah, that would be a terrible, terrifying way to die. At least I'm assuming if you get incinerated, it's over quickly.
Yeah, I mean, they did say there was like screams. Dude, the dragons are out here working.
They are.
Particular regard for human life.
No, they're not chill dragons. They're not cuddly. They're not Puff the Magic Dragon.
They're like, you got too close to my tail after living like a year in this death environment, and guess what? Dead. How dare
no more?
How dare you?
How dare you? Oh, another quote that I thought was really interesting from the book, real quick, is that they say that majority of the other writers were injured by their dragon in some small way or a way, but her dragons never injure her
because she was already injured.
She was
from the stab wound when she got stabbed.
Oh, true.
They said that was the scar. Yeah,
that makes sense. I just thought that was a good quote.
Okay, would you rather be a scribe or a writer?
Oh, that's a good question. In real life, a scribe. Like, for real, do I want to
fight
early and learn combat and do all this stuff? No.
I like how number one wasn't combat. It was like, you already waking up early.
Yeah, I like to get up early, but do I want to wake up early, do combat, die, and could die in multiple ways, fly things in the air.
Yeah, the heights is where you lose me.
Mm-hmm.
Terror.
Yeah. I think their world's interesting. I could read. I could memorize facts.
I don't know. It's like I'd like to think I would be a writer, but I don't have what it takes.
You have what it takes. You could be a writer. You could do it.
Thanks for gassing me up. I would fall from the parapet just from being I would be crawling. Why did nobody just crawl
That's
it?
so true. Why did no one crawl? That's a very valid point.
They're too worried about looking weak.
Exactly. Which was like a whole thing for them. I would want because I'm kind of envisioning the dragons as puppies. Again, puppies that could kill you, but like puppies. So then I'm kind of I know, but they're like a pet. They're not a pet.
I want to know what power I would have. That would be
cool. Ooh, that would be really
hard
cool.
to let that go.
Yours would be something I feel like it has to do something with intelligence.
Like, oh my God, you're gonna give me a power right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. So definitely, because you're super, super, super smart and clever. So I feel like it definitely has to be something to do with intelligence. So maybe you could see the future, or I don't know, something like that. Something like that. Telekinesis, maybe. Or
I would be the one whose neck got snapped. She knows too much.
Oh, I meant the other one, not telekinesis. What's the one where you can move stuff?
Oh,
Magneto.
You're right. No, you're right.
I said telekinesis. What is telekinesis?
Oh,
I don't know. Telepathy is when you can speak or listen.
Yeah, so it has to be.
Telekinesis, I think, is when you can move things. So I would give you telekinesis so you could survive. But,
I would give you the ability to make things grow.
Oh, I would love that. That would be
a form of botany, but obviously you could use that for a lot of things.
a lot of things that could be poisonous plants.
You would probably be a healer. I feel like you wouldn't. You'd be Brennan.
I'd be a mender. Thank you. Yeah. I'll take that. I'd appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Because you'd be look at my herbs.
Take some herbs. Feel better.
I'd be swinging by for some herbs. What is Zayden smoke? I can't remember what it was.
It's like Chunum or something.
Yeah,
like Chunum.
Okay, so actually I read it as Chunin, which this might go over your head, but there is an anime, Naruto. And they go through so they're training to be ninjas, and there's stages of ninjas you can be. And the second stage from elementary ninja is a Chunin. So it's Chunin exam. So when he said it, all I could think of was Naruto. And I was like, you can't smoke a Chunin.
That is funny. My husband's obsessed with Naruto. So I've heard it in the background. I have not watched it, but my husband's obsessed with it.
Yeah, they have their thing is the Chunin exams. That would be
interesting. Okay, interesting.
Whatever, that's neither here nor there.
Okay, no, but I think our minds are going to the same places of what he was doing.
Myth root.
He was smoking myth root. He was.
I like how all of these books now have some sort of adjacent.
Yes, they do. Also the fertility medicine. Gotta have it. They gotta add that in there.
Oh yeah.
When they talk about their.
They always have to be. Have you noticed? Okay, is it just me, or does every romance have to be fantasy, contemporary, whatever? Is it just me, or do they always have to? I'm trying to think of just the way to say this. Do they always have to raw dog?
Yes. Oh, I know exactly what you're saying. You don't have mythical sheepskins. You have to use. It's always that, and you take an herb.
Yeah, they just not a singular one of them believes in wrapping it before you tap it.
Not one book. STDs exist, y'all. You need to.
What? They're always it's always in the moment too. I took a test.
I take a tonic.
I took a test. And what do you have? Yes, I grind up leaves and I snip them.
Basically, but I do respect that they have male birth control in this book. He takes a fertility tonic or whatever too. It's not just her.
Yeah, he needs to be shooting blanks.
He does. Exactly. That is funny. I did think of that too. I was always the tonic. But anyway.
But Zayden is top tier.
Oh, 1,000%. He's 10 stars. The book's 5 stars. He's 10 stars. He is.
So is Violet, though. Like I said, I love them
She
both.
is.
I love them both. I don't want. Please don't disappoint me.
I know. So my worry is. Please. Anyways, wait. No, I was totally off key. Anyways, side key.
It was
side note.
Spiritual version.
I'm praying for Rebecca Yarros.
It took a churchy vibe off.
It did. So I absolutely love. We agree. We said this earlier. We love Jennifer L. Armentrout. Absolutely love From Bud and Ash, book 1 through 3. I think 4 through 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever book we're on at this point. It went on a little too long, but she's an amazing author. We absolutely love her, and we love that series. My concern, please don't do that to us, Rebecca Yarros.
No.
5 books but maybe it will go obviously Throne of Glass has 6 books.
Mm-hmm. And
7.
Most of those are 1,000 pages.
Yes, but you never feel it did not go that path. Uh-uh. You know what I mean? It was done really well. So it's possible. I think it's possible. So I have faith in Rebecca Yarros. I have faith that 5 books we will get a 5-star each book.
Okay.
Yes.
I hope that too.
Me too.
I just think people are going to die along the way, and I'm not going to be okay.
Everyone that we care about must live.
I felt like the Tiger King, but instead of financially, I never emotionally recovered from
this. I love that so much.
I literally put this book down, and I had time to pick up another book, and I was I just can't. I just need to marinate on these emotions I've been emoting.
Exactly. I want to go back and reread my favorite parts. I want to I
can tell you what she highlighted. If you'd like,
tell me what they highlighted.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I assume it's a kid. I assume the way I picture whoever owned this book before me, they were like a teenager and they wanted to read this in class, and for some reason that's what I've decided.
Okay. I picture like a really old person being like, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, and then handing it to their kid. I feel like you wouldn't hand it to your kid then, though. Maybe
True.
they went through, but then they read the whole thing.
They're like, okay, Loki, this is great.
Like, goddamn Zane's hot.
I feel like this heathen book got me again.
This is what they meant when they said there'd be temptation.
Oh my God, if you're going to be tempted, Zayden Royson, he's temptation. He's temptation.
Goddamn, he is.
He also has like shadows. Like,
oh yeah. Shadow Daddy.
Hot. Shadow Daddy. Hot.
Yes, sir.
So hot. Yeah. So we love him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, yeah.
I'm just so ready for the next book, and like
I'm so ready.
I just want to know it now, and then I want it to be January, and I want the third book, and I just want them to ride off into the sunset happy.
Well,
we're gonna go through some stuff before we get there.
Yeah,
but they better.
Here's
be
what
doing
I hope
that,
I don't experience: torture.
True.
I feel like here's the problem though: is every series I've ever loved has some sort of traumatic torture in it.
So it could be coming for us.
Do you think there's going to be torture? I think there's going to be torture.
I could see that with the Vernon.
And I'm more thinking her mom.
Really?
Yeah, because once they're traitors, it's war.
True.
So now you're going to have a Venom war, and then you're also going to have a general war. Right,
with the, oh my gosh. Well, we will see where this wild ride takes us.
She's also very powerful. Remember, they talk about this in the foreshadowing, is they talk about the two of them together being too powerful, that they could change the course of things as a unit.
True.
They done united.
They done united. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for where this goes. It's going to be great. As long as there's not too much torture, you're right. As long as there's not too much torture. Mild torture. Mild to light torture, please.
How would you define mild torture?
Nothing of
you're like rating torture. Like somebody with PTSD comes up to you and you're like, I'd give it a 3.
But you know what I mean? There are levels to the books. There are levels
your torture
to the
like
books.
a 3. It could have been a 5, honestly. You should be thankful.
Right? Oh my God, that'd be so messed up. But I hope they don't go through that. I hope our loves don't go through that, Violet and Zayden.
And we could do that. We could make series based on trauma torture.
We could. There's one in my mind that comes as number 1. That's the worst.
Is it ZA?
No. Oh no, I didn't even think of that. Okay, that's high. So number 1 for torture would be ZA. 2 is Shadow in the Ember. 3 is Throne of Glass. Those are the 3 that I'm thinking of.
There was one dark romance I read, and there was a lot of fear in it, more so than there was actual blatant, but the fear was very strong for me. Also written by the Twisted Sisters. They earned that name.
They do. They're like, okay, checks out in the name.
One day I'm going to pay a therapist a lot of money to talk to about their books. I know what they did to me.
This may take us on a tangent. What if it's Dane getting?
Let's forgive him.
Yeah.
Why would you say that? If he does the right thing, oh my God.
Right,
he's going to be the Cal I end up forgiving.
Right, maybe.
That would be good.
We'll see. I know it would be good. Oh, I'm just so ready. Like I said, I immediately want to go and reread now.
I'm excited for us to look back on this and see, even after Iron Flame, I imagine we're going to feel different.
Oh, yes.
Or a type of way. You know what I mean?
Type of way.
One way or another, right? We're going to feel, and I'm very excited for us to look back and be like,
me too.
Either you're a bunch of clowns or
spot on.
Doing my gloating run.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. Okay, I'm so ready to read. Zayden better not take us on a tangent either, where he doesn't.
No, he has no flexibility to disappoint me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've done your little thing.
Yeah.
But no more. That's it. Yeah.
He let you have a couple secrets. It wasn't great. It's time to not have them anymore. It's time to shape up.
Yep, you gotta shape up or shout. Shape out. Shape up or shout.
It's when your only options are to be good or poop yourself.
Can you imagine?
Honestly, I could get my together, but I'd rather just shit.
Maybe they were constipated. So funny. Okay, so with that, shape up or shit out.
That's gonna be our new closing line. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Sheridan.
Oh, yes. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Me too.
I look forward to the future.
Future Jordan and Sheridan coming back and being like, you didn't know what you were in for. Because I can imagine the next book's going to emotionally devastate us.
Yeah. I feel like this was child's play and what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I feel like we got the cute little teaser.
Yeah.
And now I'm about to be. Yeah. I'm gonna need like a slam journal after this or something. I don't know.
Write it down. No, totally. But I can't wait. I'm so ready.
Me too. Cool. Well, you heard it here first through the grapevine. If you like what you heard, you can check us out on TikTok or Instagram at Sippin on Spice or on YouTube. You could be on YouTube now.
You could be.
And if one might suggest that you like and subscribe so that you can see us every week. Because why wouldn't you want to?
Exactly.
You enjoyed this so much. Look how happy you are.
Exactly. Exactly. Or you could shape up.
Honestly, you could shape up or shit out.
Well, thank you for joining us. See you next week and cheers.
Cheers.